throws. He lays out and makes the catch.
And we're back for another episode of the Double Switch podcast. You know, guys, Johnny and I kind of decided that we were just going to chill for a bit. You know, let the Phils kind of break out of their funk, figure some stuff out. We figured we were kind of coming to you guys every week, kind of saying the same thing, like, "Oh, the Phillies suck." So we decided this time we were going to wait, and wait we did, and it took a really long time. I think we haven't recorded for 2 weeks, but for the first time in a long time, I feel pretty good about where this Phil's team's at. Yeah, Johnny, would you kind of agree in my assessment that we're a lot better off now than we were at any point over the past month, 6 weeks?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you there. We did take a hiatus because the Phillies aren't always good for your mental health. And sometimes you can't watch them every night when they go through those periods of time. But it's June, and everyone knows the Phillies love June, and they're getting after it, and it's exciting to see now.
Yeah, they are getting after it in June, and you know, this season it's starting to kind of share a lot of similarities with last season. Both the just terrible start, and then you know, kind of flipping the switch and making your impact June on. A lot of people have kind of questioned whether this team can do that again because I mean last season it was a run we went on and we're kind of in a very similar spot. So do you think that this is just kind of a thing with this team where it takes a while for them to get going and we should expect them to kind of turn it on and be what we think they can be going forward, just like they were last season?
Yeah, I do think it's a thing with a lot of these guys. You look at individual numbers with some of these guys like Schwarber, usually Harper, but Harper, I guess, had a little jolt of adrenaline coming back from that injury. So he's been pretty productive. But unfortunately, this team does like to dig themselves into a hole and make it more challenging to make the playoffs.
Yeah, it's the most frustrating way to play baseball. I feel like, you know, you could just be yourself all season, and this probably was like a 90-95 win team, but you know, it's probably out of the picture now, for being completely honest. 90 wins. We're about I think we're 60 games in, so 100 games left, and we have 26 wins. So if we go 60 and 40 all the way out, we have 86 wins, and it sounds pretty rough, but you just kind of look up and down this lineup right now, and we'll talk about the rotation in a bit because it feels like there's always more to talk about with the rotation. But some of the guys that we were really starting to get frustrated with, especially the veterans, JT, Schwarber, Turner, I think they're kind of the headliners. Past weekend, they just look like completely different players for the most part. Trea Turner seems to be kind of turning it around. He wasn't as bad as you know, some people made him out to be. The average did kind of dip. Schwarber was batting 160, which is insanely low for just a Major League Baseball player. And JT was kind of doing what he did last year. We all, you know, it was a short time ago where we were kind of calling for Stubbsy to get more playing time because JT was that bad. And we're literally at the same exact spot we were last year. And it's weird, but it's also the reason we're here with optimism because we saw them just turn the corner, and it's going to come from these veterans. I mean, they're going to be the guys to kind of propel the rest of the season, and it looks like they're up for the task so far.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, we saw that these guys, this is a tendency of theirs. This happens for them, but we know what they're capable of, and we know that they're going to perform. They're all way too good. And I mean, the veterans, it's been huge. It's been really hard, I think, with the struggles, especially seeing a big group of veterans struggle like that, like Turner and Schwarber and Real Muto as a trio. Like, that's a lot of money between those three guys, and it's very understandable why fans get so upset when those caliber player just cannot figure it out. But we're seeing them flip the switch. I wanted to give an early shout out to Nick Castellanos, who's just been a dog through this whole struggle. And has really, really shown that last year was an outlier.
Man, if I would have told you it was June 1st and the only guy producing at all, just literally at all, he was at some points throughout this rough stretch, he was our only offense. You would have told me I was nuts, but here we are. And Nick Castellanos, he has been great. Yeah, I think something worth noting with this team, last year, it was kind of easy because we all of the fans, all of the media, we kind of settled in on the guy who was going to kind of take the blame. Joe Girardi shouldered all of the blame. We pointed at him for the struggles. And this year, it's not so easy because we've seen this team do very good under Tomper. So no one was really, there were some people saying that, but it wasn't really serious. So kind of all the responsibility fell on these players. And
Yep.
when you're getting paid that much, especially in Trea Turner's situation, you gotta figure it out. I mean, at the end of the day, this is a team with extremely high hopes, and there was nothing to shield them from the criticism they deserved. But they kind of had to shoulder that as well. So it's even harder to kind of break out of it. But they were all capable of it. They're all major league players who know what they're doing. I mean, the offense, it's been weird, the lack of power. I don't really understand it. I mean, Schwarber's obviously doing his thing, but a lot of the lineup has like 5-6 homers. Trey has like 6. JT has 6. The power, I think, is going to come around. I'm just not super worried about the offense right now. We do kind of need Beiber back, being that he's our big bat with runners in scoring position. It feels like we're always relying on him to drive in some runs. But no, the offense is definitely in a good spot. I think we're smooth sailing going forward.
Yeah, knock on wood. After you just said that, for sure. Let me do that. But yeah, Bohm would be great to have back. But it seems like it's just going to be a short IL stint for him. So that's a real blessing. And then even Derek Hall, who I had no idea what to expect from anymore, he's on his way back.
Yeah, so there's help on the way. No, offense is in a definitely in a very good spot. On the pitching side, bullpen's been pretty solid, but man, dude, this pitching staff, we don't have a fifth starter, which is already a big problem. It feels like Nola and Wheeler kind of rotate games where they're pitching good and then they're pitching bad. I mean, Wheeler shuts down the Atlanta Braves, who are just a juggernaut of a lineup, for 8 innings, 12 strikeouts, and then he goes up to Washington and gets shelled. The lack of consistency is driving me a little crazy. And to kind of get where we need to be, we can't have Nola, Wheeler and the ERAs in the 4s, and Taijuan Walker has just been utter disaster. I see a trade happening for a starting pitcher, or I see one of the young arms coming up and trying to provide a jolt to this starting rotation that has been a very big letdown so far into the season. With that being said, Nola, shout out for almost kind of doing something really special last night. I know he ended up giving up the bomb to Nick Maton, but I'm not really going to be too upset about that.
Josh, when you texted me, I didn't notice.
Oh, you didn't even know? Yeah, you were pretty nonchalant about it.
I had no idea until I woke up in the morning. And I saw it on Twitter.
I texted you and said,
way.
Yeah, I texted you and was like, pitch count doesn't come into this, right? And you're like, no way. And I'm like, all right, cool. And he had like 90 pitches in the 6th inning. And I'm like, wow, that was a pretty aggressive approach there by Johnny. But
I thought you meant to go out for the 7th inning. I was like, yeah, what are you talking about? 90 pitches? Send him out there. He's Nola. He's a workhorse.
He was on his way to something special, but a hanging curveball to Nick Maton ended up ruining that.
Kind of a full circle moment. Kind of cool for Nick Maton to come back to Philly and jack one out and kind of pimp it too. Good for him.
Yeah, that whole at bat, I knew something bad was going to happen because Nola's curveballs were up in the zone and they were doing that loopy thing that they do where you're like, oh God, something bad's about to happen. But no, the Phillies 2023 pitching staff experience is a full-on roller coaster. On any given night, Nola can be either the best pitcher in baseball or the worst pitcher in baseball, and you don't know. And Wheeler should be having way more success with the stuff, which has looked very good so far. I'm hoping that someone heats up. I think Rangers kind of turned a corner already. I'm hoping someone heats up and kind of takes some of the pressure off the rest of the guys and some form of success becomes contagious. We see that happen with certain aspects of the game. But no, we need some stability there to kind of, just give us a chance every night.
Absolutely. I think even after the offseason ended, I don't think really either you or me were completely sold on this rotation. I think everyone kind of knew that we needed to add pitching depth, but I think we thought it was going to be front end pitching depth, not back end with Taijuan Walker. And it's spending the money on Taijuan Walker is looking like we should have just given it to someone, a bigger arm. But now it's tough to be hindsight with that because you got DeGrom now and Rodon, who are the options, who aren't exactly producing for their teams either. So it's pitching's thin. Everyone knows that. You need to get pitching in this league, and I do see the Phillies. You said it briefly, but they're going to go out and trade for a young arm, some sort, controllable young arm. I think we have some depth in the farm to trade for a top end arm.
Yeah, so I see your little note here. I'm sure everybody watching can see it too. Better than Josh at fantasy baseball. It should be an A, and then it's better than Josh. But
I knew that once I typed it.
Okay. Anyway, didn't you add Taijuan Walker today? Did I see that correctly?
Yeah, I'm streaming.
So what are you feeling pretty good about Taijuan? Is that kind of where you're at? Because
goddamn Tigers.
It's the
Tigers, you see that lineup? I was watching that.
It's Taijuan Walker, though.
I know. I really don't like watching Taijuan Walker pitch, and I definitely don't like putting him on my fantasy team. That definitely took some hesitation for me when I was like, "Do I do this, Taijuan Walker?" But if Taijuan Walker can't give me 15 against the Tigers, his reputation is done with me.
We will see how that goes. As for what's out there on the market, I mean, it's rough. There's not many sellers. The sellers don't really have good pitchers. It might be a situation where we kind of missed the opportunity to get that top end controllable arm. Just last offseason, Castillo was traded. He would just be amazing in our rotation. He's the type of arm that you kind of hope for. But as for the names available, I mean, you're looking at the Eduardo Rodriguez.
You never know.
Was hurt.
You never know who's available, though. That's
true. But it's a weird place we're in baseball. A lot of teams are not too bad. It's you look at the standings and we're towards the bottom and we're trying to win. So no, that'll be tough. And everybody needs pitching, like you said. So I don't want to get into a bidding war and have to give up the farm for a pitcher. I'm hoping that a better option kind of presents itself soon. We do have arms. That is the one.
I don't want to
benefit of our
sidetrack you
system.
here. I don't want to sidetrack you here, but about Shane Bieber kind of having a down year. His strikeout numbers don't look great, but he's Shane Bieber, and the Phillies have done a lot with the pitchers since Caleb has taken over.
Yeah, I knew that was going to come up in one episode. I'm out on Shane Bieber.
Quick explanation.
Completely out on Shane Bieber. The 2020 version of Shane Bieber was really good. Velocity was up that year. He was throwing 95, 96, and he led MLB in Ks. This version of Shane Bieber, I mean, he has a 3.7 ERA. He's not striking anybody out. He's just not as dominant as he used to be. So I think there's kind of a lack of connection between name value and actual production. And I think if they throw Shane Bieber out there on the market, I think that everybody's going to kind of think what you're thinking right now. There's nothing wrong with thinking that. He is Shane Bieber, and he's very proven. But I'm just not sure what version of Shane Bieber we'd be getting. I think he can make his stuff work. He's plenty talented, but I don't want to pay for a 2020 Cy Young Bieber because, there's no other arms available just because we're desperate. That's not the best option. And I think they'd want one of the big arms, and, we need those arms like probably more than we need another arm right now. If you know what I mean. That didn't make any sense, but
no, it did. You basically told me that Mick Abel and Andrew Payne are off the table, but Griff McGarry is on the table.
I don't even know if I'm putting Griff on it I don't think I'm doing it for Bieber, but if you put
are you kidding me?
I've grown
We
to
don't
really
even
like
Griff
these
McGarry.
guys.
I know, but like McGarry, like there are massive red flags from a rational standpoint.
I know, but there's massive red flags in our current rotation, and at least he throws 100. Taijuan Walker has massive red flags, and he throws 94 with a
Makes
splitter.
$72 million. So
Yeah, I know. I just feel like it's also it's recently in the back of my head the Ben Brown trade, and
yeah, shut up.
I know that's like probably making me feel this way. Ben Brown, who we traded for David Robertson, in the moment we didn't think much of it because we had the big three arms, but Ben Brown's like in AAA tearing it up, and he's probably going to debut soon, and
Very
that
soon.
sucks because we need that now. We need that.
We need Ben Brown right now.
Yeah, and we obviously, if we don't have Robertson, you don't know what happens. We don't know if we even make it because he was important to last year's team. But I just I want to be sure, and I'm not sure about Bieber. I am sure about other guys who I can't think of right now.
This is a topic we could
I'd
come
be
back
doing,
to.
I'd be willing to do it for like obviously Corbin Burns, but I don't know if that's even going to get them to listen. But
Corbin
no,
Burns, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. The Orioles, who are just awesome this year, don't have any pitching. Kyle Gibson's their ace. And you look at their farm system, and they got guys, who,
They do have guys.
yeah, they got guys who are blocked, and they got guys who are blocked 3 times, and those are the teams that are going to go get themselves a Corbin Burns. And I don't know if it's worth sacrificing what it's going to take to do that, but we do need help.
Yeah. Yeah, but
badly.
I think it is important. I mean, we won't drag on about trades because we're not even close to the deadline and probably won't happen for a bit. But we can't get full into Dave Dombrowski mode where we just flip all of our young talent for current talent because this team is built for the next 10 years. And we can't forget that by trying to have like minor upgrades just to win a couple more games. We got to kind of trust what we have in-house as much as we can. Because Painter, Abel, Rojas, Crawford, they're going to have to play a role at some point, and you can't trade all of them.
Yeah, you can't trade all of them. And, part of the problem is we haven't been super good lately. And if I were to really buy in and, kind of get us across that finish line, I'd prefer to not be 26 and 34 or whatever we are. You don't want to sacrifice the future when you're below 500 in June. It's a situation where we need a guy to hold us over for this year, and we need to not pay too much for it. But no, I see what you're saying there. I'm trying to I'm going to bring up Bieber's Savant page to see so you can see what I'm talking about. But
okay,
I just have to stall.
Well, I actually found some nice numbers while I was eating lunch at work today. Castellanos, man, his barrel percentage last year, 6%. This year, 11%. Close to his career average at 10.5. I mean, that's made a huge difference. And then the hard hit rate, it was 35% in 2022. He's back up to 44%. He has a 40% career average. So that's really, I mean, the guy is getting way more barrels than last year, and he's like barrels do. They hit the ball hard.
Any idea why? Or do you think he just wasn't feeling it last year?
Well, he has an increased average against fastballs and sliders significantly. He's got a 413 batting average against fastballs this year.
Baseball's so weird, man.
It's bizarre.
Make it make sense.
Well, I mean, he really is just like, if looking at his like Fangraphs is very interesting because it really does look like 2022 is just it looks like it shouldn't be there.
He's such a confidence player too, like you can just tell he's like a different player right now. And it's becoming kind of a theme too where players in their first year are just so bad here and it doesn't make any sense. I mean, even Bryce was not good in his first year. I mean, he was good by Bryce standards, obviously, but it's definitely a place that kind of takes some getting used to. I get that, and I think we're kind of watching that right now with Trea Turner because I mean that guy's way too good to be having these kinds of issues.
Yeah, and it looks like they actually did make like a mechanical change with Trea, and he does look more stable at the plate. He's got that crouch a little bit lower. He's hitting the ball closer to like the middle of his body. Those home runs last night, they weren't cheap shots.
No, he definitely looks good. So real quick, what is this? What is this? This is a Taijuan Walker Savant page. What is
Pretty
this?
close to, all right. For those who are watching,
disgusting.
Josh thinks baseball savant pages are like the Bible.
Oh my, XBA is 9th percentile. Dude, he's getting crushed and he's not striking anybody out.
Yeah, where does velocity go? Is more my question.
Beiber is a disaster. He's a blow up waiting to happen. I don't think.
What if he's a fix waiting to happen?
Yeah, that's true. But do you want to bet a top prospect on that?
For peak Shane Bieber, I would.
I know, but peak Shane Bieber.
Shane Bieber's not even 30. What'd you say? He's 28. Yeah, 28.
Yeah, he's 28. I mean, I see where you're coming from, but we kind of, obviously this situation's different because Shane Bieber's been way better than Taijuan Walker, but we kind of thought that going into the off season that Taijuan Walker, he's only 28 or 29 or however old he is, and
I never thought he was an ace.
Yes, but he was at one point a top prospect, and he's a guy that we thought we could fix, and so far it's not going too well, and I just don't know if I'm willing to bet a top prospect that it's going to cost. I don't even know if Griff McGarry gets it done. They might ask for Nick Abel. So
they would ask for more. I don't think Griff McGarry is nearly enough, but as a centerpiece, I think it would have to be an Abel or Painter. But if it's McGarry or one of the position prospects, I'm willing to do it.
Yeah. I guess we'll have that big debate if we hear some breaking news that we're in on.
I've only gotten one trade right since the podcast started. That was the Soto trade.
Yeah, and it wasn't even the right time. You were 6 months too early.
But I had the right idea.
Yeah. But no, Phils are fine. Bullpen's nasty, which is something I never thought I'd say. We're kind of near the top in bullpen statistics, and Alvarado's on his way back. So that's for once in our lifetimes, we're not going to go into an offseason trying to find a reliever, and that's going to be nice. It's going to be very I'm going to be happy that we don't have to search for a reliever because we've been doing that for so long. But other than that, I mean, Braves are kind of running away with it, as the Braves tend to do. Mets are having just as many issues as we are. Padres likewise. It's not been good, but it's nothing we can't overcome with a 8-2 road trip or something. The swings of the baseball season that we're having are driving me a little crazy. I know we have like 4 losing streaks of 5 games and 3 winning streaks of 5 games, and it's just mind-numbing to sit through. This is not how it should be, but it is what it is, and we will persevere.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of all I got. I mean,
I wanted to make a point about Nola. Because I feel like, Nola's just been, it's always a hot topic, whether you're on the internet or you're a 94.1, whatever it may be, or this podcast, us going back and forth. Is he an ace? Is he number 2? Is he number 3? He's not an ace. He's a workhorse. Just literally set your expectations. Aaron Nola might suck. He might be good, but he's going to be out there pitching his goddamn best. And we saw it last night. He tied some records, and he's going to be an all-time Philly great with some of these numbers, and I love this guy. So it's a friendly fuck you to the haters. And
oh God, we got to put a warning on this now.
Let's root for Nola, everyone.
Yeah. So when I retire in 40 years, I think I'm going to take up a part-time job at the dictionary people, and I'm kind of going to redo the definition of an ace because it is so confusing. It is
no one even knows what it is.
No one agrees on what an ace is.
Stupid.
What an ace probably should be is a guy that, if you need like a game 7, It's tricky because Game 7 pitchers aren't always aces, and
Does
aces
baseball
aren't
even
always
have aces anymore?
Yeah, I feel like the days of aces are probably dying. I mean, Roy Halladay was an ace. We're all in agreement there. Like it's so tricky because you could have an ace who can't pitch in the playoffs like Clayton Kershaw. So I think we probably just need to put it away and kind of think of players in terms of value. And when you're looking at full season value and kind of at the end of the year, you look back at what a player provided you. War's pretty good at this. Wins above replacement, but Aaron Nola is a super top tier valuable pitcher. He gives you innings and he gives you quality innings, and it's not always sunshine. But at the end of the year, he's going to give you a lot of innings that you need. You need those innings to get through the course of a season. And he's going to give them to you with above average metrics. And it is what he's going to do. Whether we want him to be better, whether we think he stinks, it doesn't matter. He's just going to go out there and do what he has to do. And for us, if anybody's expecting him to change at this point, you're just being ignorant and naive. I mean, he is who he is. And I like this version of Aaron Nola. I mean, he can be frustrating at times, but it's nice knowing that you got a guy up there who's going to give you 200 innings of mid threes ERA baseball.
Dude, he's just grinding. Like it's a guy that he goes in and he maybe doesn't amaze everyone every single time, but he does his job. I mean, he goes out there, he takes care of his body. He doesn't get hurt. He's been so damn durable, and we do not have a rotation that could survive without the innings that Nola has given us over the past, what's it been, 7 years now?
People are going to really notice he's gone if he signs somewhere else. We're going to feel that because the people we've grown so complacent with it. But 200 innings is so
it doesn't happen
valuable.
in baseball much
I know
anymore.
It's so valuable with injuries, and man, it's going to really be hard to replace because we don't just have to replace Nola. We have to find a pitcher who can give us 200 innings of Nola type production. We might be able to replace the per inning production, but if it's only for 140 innings, that's 60 innings of baseball, 6, 7, 8 starts that we're going to have to throw out there, a quad A player, a Christopher Sanchez, just look at Jacob deGrom. I mean, you could be the best pitcher in the world, and if you can't stay healthy, it doesn't matter. But he can stay healthy.
The deGrom injury really shows the value of a pitcher that can stay healthy. You'd rather have Aaron Nola out there 200 innings than a Jacob deGrom for 100, and then your best guy from AAA for the other 100. It's just how it is. You'd rather have that sub 3 ERA and just grinder type pitching performance than a guy that's never in the rotation.
Yeah, if you're really super concerned about Aaron Nola, just don't watch his starts and just wait till the end of the season, and you'll look at his stat line and you'll be happy. I do get it because it is frustrating sometimes watching him, but we know what we got in Aaron Nola, and I don't want to dig too deep into this, but I just want to throw this question out there because
all right,
you kind of got me going down a rabbit hole here. Who right now in baseball, who are the aces, would you say? Who is an ace in baseball right now? I'm going to throw out a couple names. You let me know if you agree.
All right, well, McClanahan is up there.
McClanahan's an ace. I think Strider's probably an ace at this point.
Strider, yes, he's not as proven, but yes, still an ace.
I think Garrett Cole's probably an ace.
Garrett Cole's an ace.
I think I feel comfortable saying Corbin Burns is still an ace.
I think Gosman's getting close.
I think Gosman's an ace. Gosman's definitely an ace. Is Framber Valdez an ace?
I don't think so. I think he's a very good pitcher, but I don't. Again, there's no perfect definition of an ace, but he toes the line for sure.
Is Luis Castillo an ace?
I think he's same as Framber, just on that outside.
Yu Darvish an ace? Joe Musgrove?
I think they're all in that other Zach Wheeler type range.
Okay, so there's really 4 or 5 aces, and people are super upset that we don't have one, but most teams don't have one, and they're upset we don't have 2. People are crazy.
No. Pitching's hard. Pitching's very valuable in this league. We're not the only ones trying to require it. So
the days of for 3.5, I don't think Oswalt was at ace point in his career in 2011. But the days of 3.5 aces on the same staff, I don't think we'll ever see that again. I mean, that's just the game's changing, and with the relievers becoming more valuable than ever, we just won't see it. We won't see a rotation like that ever again. So,
but what you will keep seeing is dynamite pitchers out of the bullpen.
I wonder what Cole's up to. He's still in the Padres system. Don't forget that he's still hanging around.
Who?
Cole Hamels.
Why is he doing that?
You know he signed a minor league deal with the Padres, right?
Why does he do that? Why do Cole and Chase have to be Cali guys? It's so disrespectful. But
I know we could honestly use a 39-year-old Cole Hamels now.
Wait. All right. One last question. We'll end it with this one.
Yeah.
Who would be more effective in the Phillies 2023 rotation, Cole Hamels or Bailey Fulton?
It's Cole Hamels. Cole Hamels. I mean, I think he'll be able to get people out with that changeup when he's like 60. That thing was gross, and it aged like fine wine. Yeah, we might be calling the Padres here soon about 39-year-old Cole Hamels. I did not have that on my bingo board, but baseball's weird. Got anything else?
Nope, just that baseball's weird. And I love the Phillies.
Very weird. I love the Phillies too. And with that being said, that will conclude this episode. We will be back to talk to you guys soon. We don't know what date, so I will just say soon. And in the meantime, you guys can go check out Pick Swap Media. Guys are still pumping out plenty of podcasts, plenty of stuff to talk about. Eagles training camps right around the corner. Sixers.
Got Nick Nurse.
Nick Nurse. Probably still quite a bit of venting going on, so that's always good entertainment. Go give them a listen, and we will be back to talk to you guys soon. Thanks for listening.
Go Titans.